Hi, and welcome to another ISOOSIchat, our regular roundtable discussion about search, social, and all things marketing. I'm Carlos Fernandez, president of ISOOSI, and today we're going to be discussing all things about lifestyle businesses. What is a lifestyle business, and what do we all think of it? We'll be taking discussion from Amon. We've got our guest today is having connectivity problems, so she's maybe joining us a little bit late, but we've got our usual panel of Merry Misfits. We've got Amon Johns, ISOOSI's resident expert about search marketing, and we've got Bill Slawski from GoFish, and we have Doc Sheldon, and Eric Stafford, creative director of ISOOSI. So, I think Stephanie's having connectivity problems. She might be joining us soon. We were just having a talk about this, lifestyle businesses, what it means to all of us in the green room before. And I think if Eric, if you don't mind, I'm going to throw it out to all of us and see what our interpretation of what that means is, and if we are in lifestyle businesses ourselves, and what you think of it. Eric?
Sure. Thanks, Carlos, and thanks, everyone. Glad to be here. Glad to see you all again. So in terms of lifestyle businesses, I've always been a bit torn between whether or not we run one and have one and enjoy the benefits of it, and whether or not they're even something you should strive for. On one hand, lifestyle businesses feel to me like, Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Work Week and traveling the globe and sitting on beaches and, working 4 hours a week. On the other hand, a lifestyle business to me can mean, that you get to go to your kids' theater and soccer games because you're your own boss and you can kind of set your own hours and work from home or travel when you want. Sort of like, my family did this summer by coming out west and working in your offices for 3 weeks, right? So I'm a bit torn, and I'm also torn for another reason, and that's that my father taught me, you should always work really, really hard. And so for me to start to embrace the concept of working smart instead of working hard was a really interesting transition for me, as I had mentioned on the event page. So those are just some thoughts I'll throw out in the beginning as we kick things off, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about them.
Hey, Stephanie. It looks like Stephanie's joining us and just getting ready. I agree with you, Eric. I guess what I said in the green room was almost I have a negative perception of it, and that might be wrong. And I'd love to get into discussion about all this to see what Stephanie has to say about it. But I personally had a negative feeling about it, and gotta love Google. Just typing in "what is a lifestyle business" into Google, it comes up with a one box, and I love its definition of it. It's basically about maintaining a particular income level, and no more. So you've kind of going as to what I was saying in the green room about having not a growth strategy, right? Basically, you're doing the business, and it's to maintain a particular income level because that's the type of lifestyle you want. But there's no kind of growth on top of that. There's no either exit strategy to kind of sell it to a bigger entity, or to merge, become an acquisition, things like that. And maybe that's why I've had a negative perception of it, because I don't feel like we have we don't have a lifestyle business because we've got future growth plans. So I don't know. Amon, while Stephanie's getting ready, do you want to jump in with your view?
Yeah. I definitely have a lifestyle business. I've worked for many agencies over the years. I've enjoyed some of the work, but I really enjoy being able to pick and choose my own clients, and it's important enough to me that I choose to take less money and less jobs to have the right clients, rather than do what I probably should do, which is take money and run. Whoever's got the most money, yeah, great. I don't want to do that. There is something about being able to put my time where I want it to go and make sure that the very job I'm doing feels good to me. And that is definitely part of a lifestyle business, that how I feel about work. It's not all about just making money, to spend in my off time. It's about actually my business itself is a big part of my lifestyle. It's something I feel very good about doing. I'd probably almost do it for free if I wasn't doing it professionally. Bill, how about you?
Okay, I'm going to point this right at the camera this time, instead of at the monitor. So I want a lifestyle business like Daniel Hillis has. Now, Hillis is one of the inventors of MetaWeb. He also taught part-time at MIT during his spare time. He helped invent some of the supercomputers people have been using for years. He worked on movies for Disney. He was a Disney executive, top-level executive for years. I've worked for big agencies. I've worked for an organization that had 17,000 people. It gets tough when you have 17 bosses. I've worked for myself. I got really jealous watching my father work for himself for the last 20 years or so. Well, he had one employee, my sister, who pretty much picked and chose her own hours. It's convenient, it's nice. He didn't take much time off. He didn't go watch the games and stuff like that. I had to force him outside to play catch or soccer or whatever. But he traveled all over the world. Loved what he did. And I've been either working for an agency or working for myself for the last 5-10 years, and enjoying a lot of it. I've moved towards working remotely rather than driving into an office every day. But I think there's I'm looking forward to Stephanie's views on this and what she has to say. And maybe we can listen to her at this point. She looks like she's ready.
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you fine.
Perfect.
Okay, and I ask, this is a great example of how a lifestyle business actually benefited me today. My lifestyle business is based out of my home, and my computer went haywire 15 minutes before we were supposed to go live today. And so then I tried the iPhone, and Aman and I were having some crazy things. Well, my college-age son is home for 2 weeks, and I ran into the kitchen, and I said, Devian, can I please steal your computer right now? If I was working in an office space, I may have a different solution, but fortunately I was in a position where I could do that so I could come on today, because the phone and my computer are still haywire, and I wouldn't have been able to talk. Lifestyle business looks and feels different for just about everybody that thinks about it. And some people will think, the former TV show, Robin Leach's Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, right? And they think that you have to have this really extravagant type lifestyle to have a lifestyle business, but that's not what it really means. What it really means is building a business structure that matches who you are and what you want out of life. And that's really quite simple. And for some people, that means building a business style that can be grown and sold from an acquisition. For other people, that means just being really clear on what they want every day to look like, and then building a business structure to allow that to happen. For some people, that means working for themselves. For other people, that means having a staff, but having really awesomely great systems in place so that that staff and those systems can run the business so that they can still have the life that they're looking for.
Okay, that's definitely a different interpretation, but I agree with that. I guess that definitely means that we don't have a lifestyle business, though, Eric, because the ideal lifestyle business, I'd be
on the beach somewhere, drinking rums with me. Yeah. I mean, that's the rub of it, right, Carlos? Is that I think the thing that bothers you about the term is the same thing that bothers me. It sounds like these people that just want to, generate income however they can so they can slack off and travel the world and be lazy, or expect the universe to bring them some stuff. I mean, you know, you and I and the guys that we work with work harder than anyone I know and anyone I've ever met in my life. So yes, we
Lost you.
So let me talk about that for a minute. Let me give you an example of how lifestyle business applies for me. Before I started Calahan Solutions, I worked for a really large corporation doing corporate consulting. And there came a point in my life where the business went public and everything that business stood for no longer matched my values. And, you know, I'm a corporate escapee because of that. But when I decided, rather than being an employee, I was going to start my own business because I was losing out on so much life when I was in that corporate space. I was spending more time in a cubicle than I was actually living. And so one of my goals, and one of the ways that I defined lifestyle business, was at the time my son was very little. I mean, he was in diapers then, now he's 13. But back then, I said, you know, I was raised by a stay-at-home mom, but I am not the stay-at-home mom type. But I recognize the benefits of that. So I said, how can I build my business structure so that my son gets the benefits of a stay-at-home mom while I'm not a stay-at-home mom? And what that really means is I wasn't working a typical 9 to 5. I altered when I worked so that when he was available and around, I was spending time with him. He still went to school full-time, even when he was little. He wasn't, you know, running around in the background. For me, that wasn't my definition of lifestyle business. But I was able to give him the time and attention as a parent that I felt was really beneficial for him, while still then also giving time and attention to my clients when they needed it. And I put a structure in place so that I could have both. And that's my lifestyle business. It's not, you know, it'd be maybe when we get a little older, it's working off the beach, but right now that's not my definition. And that's the really cool thing, is you can define it for what you want your lifestyle to be at whatever particular junction you are in your life.
Yeah, I agree with that, but then everybody's interpretation of it is different. I don't see how, if everybody's interpretation of it is different, then I don't see the value of the word, I guess, compared to, you know, you might as well just say my small business, or...
I'll take that one. SEO. Everybody's definition of it is completely different, but it's certainly valuable. I think there's sometimes when, you know, that you need a word to describe an ethos. It's a bit like, you know, I know I sometimes tease about inbound marketing, that it sounds like a guy with their head up somewhere. But I think the lifestyle business, it covers a whole lot of things, but they're all related. They are all about making decisions based on what you want apart from money, whereas traditional business, you know, growth of that business and making the money has always been where it's supposed to be focused.
All right,
Instead, the lifestyle business is saying there are things more important than business and things more important than money, and I am going to shape my business for those things that I think are more important. And for some people, that's their company. Literally, you know, it's all shaped around the fact they're going to take a month out to go skiing every winter. And, you know,
right.
I've seen companies where they're all mad skiers and their whole business is based around the fact they are going to take a month out for a skiing vacation every single year. That's a lifestyle choice, and their business is geared around it, so it's a lifestyle business.
Right.
So we work with a few agencies where the owners kind of, you know, maintain that. So let me just have this scenario. So you said you've got a lifestyle business, everything. So Amon Johns decides to get an office, take more work on to make sure that that office can, you know, everything that goes along with the office and insurance and everything. You get an office, still a lifestyle business because you're still at the top of it, and you're forming it. You're basically, you know, molding the business around what the values you have, like what Stephanie says, and the income you want to get, and you're doing things the way you want. You take 3 employees on. You're a small business with a physical location. Are you still a lifestyle business?
That, for me, depends on the conditions I take the employees on. For me, I think if I'm not passing that lifestyle freedom to my employees in terms of a culture where, you know, we're very tolerant and we all understand that we want certain things out of life, we want to take it, you know, have time to enjoy a bit of life as well as work, then no, it wouldn't be. I'd simply be an entrepreneur.
The reason I ask is, you know, I know a few agencies where that kind of culture that started off, and it was like a 1-person, then a 2-person. I think they're at 11 now, and I, you know, I don't want to say any names about the agencies, but I think Eric knows, you know, and it's kind of, they have adopted that culture, and everybody has a work, you know, a work from home day per week, and you know, it's got a good culture, and you know, I don't know if I would still classify that as a lifestyle business, and then taking that to the extreme of, you know, a Moz, they've got like 120 people, and they're still trying to have this ethos and values through the entire corporate structure. You can't say that Moz is a lifestyle business. There's got to be, you know,
everyone's ideal lifestyle looks differently, and I think that, you know, Rand has built the business he wants to have, and I think, Carlos, where you and I get hung up is with the difference between a lifestyle business and a lifestyle income. A lifestyle business is where you have, you know, systems and logistics and strategies you put into place to build a business that suits how you want to live, right? Whereas maybe a lifestyle income is just enough money to pay the bills, and you're not really looking at exit strategies or growth. I think there's maybe a big difference there. What do you think of that, Stephanie?
Well, here's the rub. A lot of people that start their business or start a business have a very narrow perspective of what it means to structure a business. In order to create a business that's truly based around lifestyle, you have to get more creative. You have to think out of the box. How can I be able to give my employees the flexibility that I want to give them, whatever that looks like, whether that's working from home or flexible work days or alternative work hours. It takes more creativity. It takes more systems thinking. It takes more understanding of different people's human condition. So when you start talking about taking, you know, a lifestyle business for somebody that is a solopreneur and is outsourcing some of their work to, you know, 5 or 6 different people is very different than a business that has employees at a physical location. And what that looks like is going to be different. And so being very strategic in what you really want your culture to deliver to the employees, and then of course to the people that you serve, it is more complex than your traditional 9 to 5, everybody comes into these shifts, but it's possible.
Yeah, we just had a comment from Christopher Vogelman saying that a lifestyle business is a business that is set up and run by its founders primarily with the aim of sustaining a particular level of income and no more, or to provide a foundation from which to enjoy a particular lifestyle. Right. I think that's pretty close. The only thing is, I don't think it's that we'd cap the income, it's that we wouldn't want to change that whole basis of why we're doing the business to get more. It's not that if suddenly something came up tomorrow where I don't have to work any harder at all but I can charge double, I don't think we'd turn that down, and I don't think that would stop it being a lifestyle business.
I'd agree. I mean, I think that it's all around setting priorities and choices, and there's a lot of different business owners that have started their business and they somehow forget that they're the owner. And they set these limits and boundaries around themselves of this is how it needs to be. Because of the past experience they've had, maybe their parents were entrepreneurs, maybe they got coaching or mentoring from someone else, when really when it's your business, you really do have the freedom, the right, and the ability to put in whatever structure you want based around your values. And that's what creates a lifestyle business. And yeah, there are some people that think that they can, you know, put something on autopilot and do absolutely nothing and go travel the world. And my understanding is there's a few people that can make that happen. And if that's what they're looking for in their lifestyle, then that's their definition of lifestyle business. But my message here today is that that's not the only way to do it. You can establish it any way you want. I mean, even I started my business back in 2002, and the structure that I had in place then looks very different than the structure as my desires for my life have changed, and the way that I serve clients has changed, and the more systems I put in place, the great technology becomes available. I mean, look, we didn't have Google Hangouts, even 5 years ago. So my ability to serve my clients and how I serve them and where I serve them from has been able to change just because of Google Hangouts. And so I continue to modify my business and let myself live my values and what's important to me. It's kind of like having your cake and eat it too, except that I have to think about it a lot more in order to put the right things in place to make it happen.
Yeah. I think one of the simplest examples of a lifestyle business I ever saw was a friend of mine did exactly the same thing I did. He stopped going into the office. He had to take a slight pay cut to negotiate the deal. But his office each day was this bar on the seafront where we've got free Wi-Fi, and he sets up in that bar with coffee, meals, and all the rest of it. That's where he works from, and in the summer, that's wonderful. He's out looking at the sea, watching the people going past. What a great office! And he made a choice there. To negotiate that deal, he had to take a slight pay cut. That's what convinced the boss that it was worth giving a try. That's a lifestyle choice.
Carlos and I are the exact opposite, right? He really likes to work in his office where it's nice and quiet and everything's where it goes, and he works incredibly long hours in his office. For me, I need constant change. I want to be by the pool. I want to be in the office. I want to be at the Starbucks. I want to be at the cigar bar. I want to be in a bar, in a restaurant, wherever. And so I think it's very interesting how differently we work, Carlos, but we've built business that allows us to do that. It looks different for both of us, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, I wouldn't go as far as it caused tension between us, because we worked it out and we realized pretty quickly that, when we had a physical office in Naples, you drive a lot. I mean, that was our own thing, and we soon.
I would go rogue.
But you've got to, I guess, and again, you go into business with something. This is another thing about partnerships, or when you work closely with someone, you've got to do whatever you feel is however you work best. And Eric knows how he works best and how he can concentrate and be productive. As long as everybody's productive in their own environments, then then it's fine. One thing I wanted to kind of bring up is Ammon and I have discussed this in the past as well about the biggest thing for growing companies to worry about is losing their employees that have spent maybe some time trying to get and going through the whole HR process, but then losing them after 1 or 2 years to when they think about starting up their own agency or their own small business. And one of the things that I think that what we were touching on before about the agency that we know in Philly and Moz is you have to start building that. If you've got growth plans for your own business and you're taking people on, you need to start thinking about, like what Stephanie said before, the values that you have and the lifestyle that you wanted for yourself, making sure that your employees are comfortable and doing, it may not be a dress down Friday or a work from home week. Everybody's going to have their own feelings about what makes them comfortable. It may be something totally different than a work from home day or a dress down Friday. But as soon as you start to communicate with your employees and find out what it is going to be for that kind of working environment to be their lifestyle business, you're going to be able to kind of keep on to them, keep on to those employees that you've worked so hard to train and to pay for a few years.
Well, and I think you raised a really important word that I want to highlight here. When you start talking about working with other people and employees, it's communication and being willing to let go of a little bit of control that really allows you to do that. So for those people that are really controlling with how they have their business run, maybe they're a micromanager, then setting up something within that business structure that allows lifestyle to be honored is going to be really difficult, versus somebody that knows that they've hired really brilliant people, and you have expectations of those people, you have appropriate check-ins, you have appropriate communication structures, and you can let them do their work and trust that it's going to get done with having good, again, good, I'm not saying, let everybody go willy-nilly, right? But you have good communication and touch-based structures in place to know that that work is getting done. Then you balance it out. But that's why I say sometimes, at least initially when you're trying to establish something like this, especially for those businesses that have employees, it can be more complex. But it can be totally worth it if you're willing to do the work. It's a different type of work.
It's another one of those confusing things sometimes as well, is that there's a difference between what companies are doing now with their corporate cultures to what they used to do, which was just perks. And I think these companies that are just doing 1 day a week you can work from home, or dress down Fridays, forget it. I think that's such a weak move. And that's like oh well, what they really want is to be able to just wear their own clothes. So I'm going to let them do it 1 day a week. If that's what they wanted, if that was important to them, they wouldn't have joined a company where they have to dress in another way 5 days a week, would they? So that one's missing it.
I think if you're doing it all on a plan like that, you're missing the point, because if it's a kind of corporate almost strategy or a plan, then you're not speaking to the individuals to ask them what their lifestyle. Bill's lifestyle might be different to yours, and if you're all in the same thing. So I know a lot of people that have stayed away from companies where they do have these team building things and all, these kind of this corporate culture that is all set, because they don't want to go out on outings on a Saturday with everybody. They don't want to do things. Their lifestyle might be spending more time, with their kids on a Friday or something, whatever. But I think that there are still ways to try to keep hold of those employees, and that you are trying to keep hold of. If you're a small business, like 10 employees, 20 employees or less, and you're worried about training them up and losing them if they want to go and start up their own agencies, again, it goes back to communication, but on a one-on-one basis, I think, instead of kind of a blanket strategy.
Well, and it goes. Oh, go ahead.
I disagree completely, Carlos.
Yeah?
Yeah, I disagree. I worked for a year last year with a company. It was a large company. There were 150 employees. I was the only person working remotely. They had no infrastructure, no communications structure. They had no knowledge base of information on technical issues that might come up, and I tried to build one. I tried to help create one, and there was a lot of backlash against it, even though there were a lot of people there who would have benefited from it. There were people. This was a internet marketing search engine optimization company. They ran into problems every day. Once a week, I'd have to fix the problems and teach somebody how, because they had no industrial memory. The same problem they had last week would be the problem they had the next week, and the week after, and the week after that. There were 150 people there. They should have talked to each other. They were allowed. They were all in the same office building. I wasn't. But write it down. Create a knowledge base. Common problems we see every week. Share it with one another.
I don't see how that's disagreeing with me, really, Bill. All I'm saying is that some corporations have almost a blanket approach to what's going to either benefit or perks or whatever you want to call it, and it's kind of like it's like the Friday off thing. That might not suit everybody. That might not suit
And where I was disagreeing was that I think it's necessary to build some type of intelligent infrastructure.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
To build a communications network.
Yeah, Bill, I think what
I think
Carlos
that
is
applies to both sides.
Yeah, that's right.
Bad companies and bad individuals, and there are people running a lifestyle business whose procedures and processes and systems are lousy and they're disorganized. And there's companies that are the same. I don't think that's a lifestyle business issue at all. I think that's a separate thing.
Well,
Great topic for another show, but not this one.
There's one of the reasons why there's a negative connotation often towards lifestyle businesses is that people sometimes do insane things. The guy who ran this company used to go on TV all the time to talk about Facebook stock prices, and he was the local regional expert on the topic. It had nothing to do with what we did.
Oh boy.
We weren't stock analysts.
You know, Bill, I think what Carlos was saying is that, like, you get two companies well known. You look at Microsoft, who reminds us all of the corporate world and reminds us of IBM, right? And you look at Apple, who reminds us of places like Google and offices that have foam pits and arcade games. It's two different cultures, really, and it's two different types of business. And I think that what it all comes down to is just setting the expectations, whether you're a solopreneur and you're working from home. You know, if you let your clients think that they can call you after 5 p.m. and all through the weekend, then they will. Right. And if you set the expectations that just does not happen, just as if you were to set the expectations like Carlos had said, look, we disappear for 2 months to ski every winter. That's just what we do. And I think if you set the expectations early, then it's much easier to kind of ease yourself into a lifestyle business. As the person who asked the question, you know, I think that's how you move into it, is to start setting expectations.
And I agree with setting expectations completely. What I disagree with is the broad general statement that everything needs to be micromanaged by the people on top.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't agree with that at all. That, you know, micromanagement is ever effective. It's never effective. Systems good, micromanagement bad.
Right.
Systems good, micromanagement bad, right?
Yeah. Right.
Well, if you've got good communication and expectations, then you don't need to micromanage.
Right.
Agreed. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
A couple of good questions. Let me bring this one up from Imran, because I think this is one to bring up early. At what point does a skilled employee, or anyone for that matter, know that they have the ability to start a lifestyle business? Stephanie, that sounds like it's right in your ballpark.
Wow, you know, I guess it depends on what your entrepreneurial aptitude is, right? Because not everybody can start a business. So first you have to find out if you have an entrepreneurial aptitude. Can you work independently? I mean, starting your own business takes a very different mindset than being an employee. So that's even outside of whether it's going to be a lifestyle business or whether it's going to be any other kind of structured business, right? But let's assume that you do have an entrepreneurial aptitude and you have a good business idea. You can build a lifestyle business the minute you start your business. It's about putting expectations in place for what you do and you don't want to experience as the owner of that business. And then if you're bringing on employees, how that works for the people that work for you as well. You know, when I started my business, I laid out first and foremost what I wanted my life to look like, and then I figured out how to make the business structure match that. And is it that way 100% of the time? Do I have clients that have emergencies that come up and I need to modify and be flexible? Absolutely. But on a regular basis, do I have a structure in place that allows me to feel balanced? Yes. Now, I'll also say that I define balanced in a different way than a lot of other people do. A lot of people think of that scale where you've got work on one side and you've got, you know, personal life on the other, and you try to keep it, you know, pretty even. I'm going to say that for me, balance means that you're in flow. And what I mean by that is there's going to be days or projects where you're working your tail off. You know, and I have those where I'm staying up until 2 or 3 in the morning and I'm really deep into something I'm doing and I'm excited about it. But then there's going to be equally that amount of time where, okay, now that that project's over, let me shift a little bit and spend the time that I want to on the personal side of things, whether that's the volunteer activities I do, the community activities I do, time with my boys, time with my husbands, you know, what my values are, how do I balance that out? And it doesn't have to be a 50-50 every day. It's looking at it and saying, over the course of a week, over the course of a month, over, you know, whatever time frame you want to look at, am I feeling resentful about anything? If you're feeling resentful, then something's out of whack. But if you're feeling like, yeah, everything that's important to me is getting its proper weight, then you've built the right structures in place. If you're feeling resentful or something's out of whack, then that means there's more work that you need to do on your communication, on your systems, and all those things we've already talked about so that you can get them shored up for the life that you want to live.
Yeah, yeah. Certainly, I think you kind of know when you're ready for a lifestyle business in one way, because you just do feel like work is a real drag and you've got a better idea of how to do it. The one caution I would throw there is everyone thinks that they can be a better boss. So if it's the boss that you're upset with, you're probably not ready for a lifestyle business. You might be ready for a new employer, but you're not ready for a lifestyle business, because, trust me, you think that boss is bad, wait till you're self-employed. The one guarantee of being self-employed is that your boss is a complete asshole.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. and that's why I said, you know, there's a big question between when do I know to start a lifestyle business versus just starting a business at all. So yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that.
I think far too many small businesses go into it, even if they feel like they've got the entrepreneurial spirit, which, you know, you feel that within you yourself. And even if they know that they can do the job, there's so much more things that go into being a successful business, as all of you know. You know, financial planning, being good with budgets, you know, and having that knowledge that it's not going to be easy for the first few years. But I mean, if there are people out there that are, you know, thinking about it, one of the best pieces of advice I could give is make sure you've done your numbers and make sure you've done your financial planning. Make sure you've got a few months' mortgage in the bank, and make sure you've, you know, you've really done your homework on your numbers. Because once you give that up, and you then end up, you know, even try to build in some small advertising budget into that before you take the plunge to get your name out, because it's going to be very, very difficult. And a lot of people, you know, whether this is right morally or ethically or whatever, a lot of people try to ride two horses at the same time, and they'll start the process of getting their own business in gear while still being employed. And they'll, you know, whether that's right or wrong, that's how a lot of people do it, and they'll start doing the foundation building of their new business. And you know, when they get home from 6 till 10 at night, and that's how many good small businesses have been built. But again, one thing I would advise is, you know, don't just go and hand your notice in, and if you think you can do it, make sure you've done a lot of planning financially first.
You know, and if you're not sure, there's all kinds of different resources that are out there now. I'm speaking from the U.S. perspective at this point, but there are the Small Business Development Center or SCORE, or there's a number of different organizations that are available. You can Google them and find them to help you figure out, do you have a good structure in place to help you when you're starting out on a business, from a business startup standpoint.
Yeah, I'd offer another piece of advice.
Sorry, Doc.
Oh, sorry. I'd offer another piece of advice too. If somebody is seriously thinking about doing it, find someone else that has their own business, preferably somebody that has had 2 or 3 failures behind them, and ask them what are some of the pitfalls, some of the stumbling blocks, some of the things that you had problems adapting to or understanding that I need to be aware of or watch out for. The person that failed once or twice, they recognize why they failed, and they overcame it on the second or third try. That's the guy that is probably going to offer you the most valuable list of things to be aware of and leery of.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is really important for any business really today is find a business mentor. It doesn't really matter who it is, but I think if you are setting up in your own business or setting up as an entrepreneur, finding a business mentor, somebody who can talk you through some of the decisions that they've made, some of the problems they've come across, some of the solutions that you found, even if you don't do it their way, just having that conversation is going to help you a lot.
Seems like we lost Stephanie. I think she was having problems again.
Yeah, I've had some problems with my video as well. I need more lighting, so I will make sure and take care of that for next week. Sorry, guys. So I find this to be a really interesting topic, guys, and I think part of the confusion or different thoughts that people have based on it is based in the fact that everyone kind of views it differently. And I think the definition that our good friend Christopher Vogelman posted in the chat is a really good one. He said a lifestyle business is a business that is set up and run by its founders primarily with the aim of sustaining a particular level of income and no more, to provide a foundation from which to enjoy a particular lifestyle. So to me, I would call that a lifestyle income. I don't call that a business. I call that an income. I think there's a big, big difference.
I would agree.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that was a conscious decision for me was actually about a business lifestyle. There's a lot of companies I've worked for, and I'm getting the feeling anyone who's worked for anybody else is going to know exactly what I'm talking about here and how annoying it is. There is a time when the boss seems to think that anything that goes right he gets the credit for, but anything that goes wrong is the employee's fault. And you know, my ethos has always been entirely different to that. As, you know that old sign, the buck stops here? That should be on every bus. It doesn't matter who you've delegated work to. The fact that you've delegated means you are responsible. The boss is ultimately responsible for everything that goes right and everything that goes wrong because he's hired the people that are going to do it. And I think there's a lot of bosses today that try and dodge the responsibility for things. When it goes wrong, it's an employee's fault and they fire them. And I hate that, and I like having my own business and then knowing that the boss is going to take responsibility, even if I do think he's an arsehole.
Eric, do you want to speak from your own? I mean, you've done things on your, you know, obviously on your own, and been very successful with things outside of ISOOSi, and in that space, you know a lot of people that have either come up with ideas or internet marketing products or courses that you know, that have been successful in that, and they don't really have a big really have a big kind of corporate structure, but you know, they've been successful in making their own digital products and stuff. Do you want to kind of, you know, either from your own story or some of their stories, you know, in terms of why they've done it, why they've left kind of working for either a 9-to-5 job or just working for a bigger company? You know, from my own perspective, I used to be an engineer, you know, kind of before the internet, I used to be an engineer. I used to work for a very big company with close to 100,000 employees, and I was doing very well. It wasn't so much a feeling a number. I liked the corporate structure. I liked everything that was going along with it. But it was just the feeling that I wasn't in control of my own, you know, not destiny, but I wasn't in control of my own, you know, what I was going to achieve in life. You know, my pay levels would be capped, things like that. So, Eric, do you want to chime in there?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think most of the people that I've met over the years in sort of the guru space or the internet marketing space, they don't think like business owners. You know, they want to get wealthy, and you know, they don't create businesses. They create incomes. You know, every Monday morning they have to wake up and create a new product or schedule a new launch or organize some new list building efforts or, you know, affiliate marketing campaigns. I think, you know, based on the experience, Carlos, that you and I had working together, when I started, you know, experimenting and learning more about affiliate marketing and about list building and about email marketing and all that stuff, I always approached it very much like the way we approached building ISOOSI and the way we approached things for our clients. I wanted to build brands that I could. I wasn't interested in making an extra $500 a week or a month or whatever. And I think that really is the big difference in terms of how you and I see, you know, lifestyle business. I think that a lot of the way a lot of those products are marketed doesn't ring true. I think it's kind of BS, and I think it gives people false expectations. I don't, you know, yes, it's wonderful, Carlos, that you and I get to take time off when we want and go do things with our kids and with our family, but you know, let's not sugarcoat it, man. We work insane hours, and yes, we get to work where we want, and yes, we get to work how we want, and yes, we get to fire clients if we want, but we work. I mean, it is work, right? And so I think that would be the biggest thought I would leave with people. You know, whether, you know, you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur and you're looking at doing internet marketing or other things, approach it like a business so that you can leverage that into the lifestyle you want rather than just an income, because incomes come and go.
Yeah, yeah. I think.
Stephanie, are you back with us? Sorry, I was.
Yeah.
Sorry, we lost you. Sorry, Ammon.
I think the level at which the lifestyle business has started to come in, and not just the lifestyle business, but you know, the whole thing of the virtual office as well, of having people, you know, telecommuting to work, which isn't always a lifestyle business choice in the same way. Sometimes it's to stop people from going and working on their own. We're still at a very early stage, but I think over the next 4 years, this is going to become more and more the norm for any industry where it can be, where, you know, you don't have to have people working on a production line, which is difficult to do at home, where you don't have face-to-face sales, which again you can't do from home. You can't have all the clients driven around to your house. But I think for a lot of jobs there is going to be much more of this telecommuting and working from home. And I think, yeah, for those that can't do that within the job they're in, more and more are going to start looking at, can they build their own lifestyle business to make it work. I knew a salesman a couple of years ago who left a pretty good job and instead worked for several companies on commission only, making phone calls, but he found he could do those from anywhere. So again, he was able to lead a lifestyle business while setting up appointments and doing things. He'd still do some face-to-face appointments, but he found he was much better off freelancing and doing it as a lifestyle business than having a steady wage and commission.
So it's really about choices, right? The choices that you want in how you want your life to be structured, the choices you want in how you want your work to be structured, the choices you want to be, you know, if you're in a business that has employees, the choices that you want to be able to afford to your employees. I know, you know, I mentioned that I worked in the corporate space a number of years ago, and we started doing what we called alternate work patterns long before they were a popular thing to do. Basically, people working virtually in a number of different ways, whether it was different shifted hours, whether it was they were working from a different physical location or what have you. And there were some teams that were more successful at that than others. I had a team of about 300 people that I led, and over 15% of them were on some kind of virtual work pattern because I welcomed them onto my team. What I found was that when my employees were happy and they were fulfilled with what they had going on, they actually gave me more than some of the employees that had cubes right next to me. But I had to be able to be flexible and willing to take that risk. And there's a lot of business owners that feel more control when they are in physical viewing range of those that work for them. And so it is a totally different way of working when you start talking about your employees. But that 15% of employees that we had that were on my team would have left us had we not figured out a different way for them to be able to do their work. And they were brilliant. I mean, they were some of the best employees I had on my team. And so finding a way to have that flexibility was really a good thing for me to be able to figure out. And so that's something that employers, I would think, would want to continue to think about as more and more people are leaving the corporate space or the workspace to go do their own thing. Technology is making it really easy for people to go do their own thing. Whether they should or not is a whole different hangout topic, right? I mean, not everybody is in a position or is ready to be doing their own thing, but they may leave anyway thinking that they are. So if you can put good structure in place, communication, be willing to take some of those risks, then you could be saving yourself you know, a really good employee, not to mention the dollars that are involved when you have employee turnover. That's huge dollar impact when you have employee turnover that you can save if you're willing to take those risks and make those changes within your own business so that they're not leaving you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But that kind of goes back to, you know, what we were saying before about control and not micromanaging and communication. But, you know, what I was trying to say before was more, it is on a one-on-one basis, because you might be able to let go and have that trust of, you know, employee one or, you know, Johnny, but the next employee, you might not have that same level of trust. So it really is a one-on-one, you know, thing that you and that employee need to figure out what it's gonna not take to keep them, but what's gonna make them happy and more productive. The more happier an employee is, the longer he's going to stay there, the more productive he's going to be, or she.
And that one-on-one could be defined in a lot of different ways depending on your corporate structure. If you're a small business and you have 10 employees, then the business owner would make sense to be the person talking to those 10 employees versus the environment I came from, where, you know, I led a team of 3. The organization, and so the organization made choices of which leaders within the organization could make those decisions and then work with an HR department. So depending on the corporate structure that you've got going on, maybe the boss, the big guy, the CEO is the one that's having all those conversations, or maybe that doesn't make sense depending on how big you are.
Yeah, we had a great quote a minute ago. I've got to pull it in. Lee Rickler said, "The beauty of being self-employed is that you can choose which 18 hours a day you work." And I think that's so true. And modified with what Eric added, which is, you know, a lot of us remember the days, do internet marketing, you can make money while you sleep. Yeah, well, they didn't tell us, but how that works is that we don't get the time to sleep anymore. You work the 18 or 20 hours a day to be able to earn that money while you sleep. Sorry, Bill, were you trying to jump in a moment ago?
No. I was commenting on what you were saying. It wasn't worth repeating.
So, guys, we're just about at the top of the hour. We should probably wrap it up. Should we go around and share some final thoughts on lifestyle businesses?
Sure. Stephanie, you want to go first?
Happy to. You know, when you're looking at the perspective of building a lifestyle business, the first place you start, and I'm assuming I'm talking to business owners here, okay, is it's your business. And you really do have the right and the ability to structure it in a way that honors who you are, the way you think, and the life that you want to live. And a lot of us put these external barriers on ourselves thinking of the way things should be, when really you can build what you want, you just have to be brave enough to claim it.
I love that.
Yeah, I think the biggest single thing behind all this is that pretty much for centuries we've had this idea of what work is. You know, it's something you get up, and as soon as you've had your breakfast and got ready, you go to work, and you work hard until you're exhausted, and you go home in the evening and spend a little bit of time with your family and go to sleep, and you get up and work again the next day. And maybe, if you're lucky, you get some time off at the weekend. And we kind of had that for centuries and didn't question it. But in this last century, we've started to question everything, and we've started to say, well, does it have to be this way? And we noticed that there were people that were escaping that drudgery. That there were people who had all kinds of lifestyles that were slightly different, working in theatres or all kinds of things. And yeah, most of this is simply about catching up to the fact that, if nothing else, the age we're living in is an age of asking yourself questions, questioning all of your assumptions, including how you work, why you work, and where you work.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Bill, do you want a final word?
Sure. One of the things I think we have now that we haven't had for many of those years is technology that can really make a difference in how we manage work, how we handle things. So I watched my father work from home for years with my sister, and they had a terrific customer relationship management approach where they really tracked what they were doing with each customer really well, and were able to stay on top without a lot of other people working with them to do that. I work remotely now with a bunch of people, and we have a program that sits on our desktop, takes a picture of us like once every 10 seconds, and we can click on each other to like stop by the water cooler, have a word, a short conversation. It lets us know that one another's there. Hangouts for business. We have weekly meetings. We have I added the concept of a lunch and learn once a day, where we have somebody do a presentation during lunch. There's so much flexibility. There's a lot of stuff that we can do now that we couldn't do in the past. People are bringing their own devices to work in these days, where 10 years ago the IT department would have had a fit, and they would have blown all the vacation photos off somebody's phone if it happened, and they put a personal memo on their iPhone or something. So we've got the tools. We need to be creative with them. As Stephanie was saying, we're the ones in charge often. We got to remember that we can do that.
I'd be a bit scared of implementing a 10-second photograph thing with Eric taking a picture.
Words hurt, Carlos. That's all I'm going to say. So, guys,
Doug, did you want to jump in? The final word?
Actually, I think what I would say has already been said. Everybody has the opportunity to consider going into business for themselves and find their lifestyle business. Not everybody has the ability, but anybody that has the desire probably has the ability to learn what it takes. And sometimes maybe you just do not have what it takes to ever handle the accounting, for instance, or the sales aspect of your business. But that doesn't mean that there might not be somebody out there with whom you could partner. There would be a great business partner or collaborator that does have that skill. You find the complementary skills with other people. Don't be afraid to try something new. But if it's totally new to you, just be cautious. Inform yourself as much as you possibly can.
The only thing I'd like to add is starting your own business, lifestyle business, small business, any business, is the most rewarding, exciting, nerve-wracking, scary experience you'll ever do. And if you've done it once, and whether it's failed or you'll know you've been through that process, and it is like nothing else, especially in the lean times when money's not coming in and you are struggling to do it. It is a very kind of enlightening experience. But once, if you make it, and you make it through that first 6 months or 12 months, you get some clients, it can be the most rewarding experience you'll ever have. I think with the dawn of Facebook and everything else, there's a kind of a really, grass is greener over there kind of mindset when people are on Facebook. Everybody thinks everybody's doing fantastically well when they go on Facebook. They look at other people's photographs. But it is, like Eric said, a hell of a lot of hard work to run your own business. So before you jump into it, and anybody that is thinking of starting their own business, I definitely think that they should pursue it. You know, it's their dream. They should pursue it. But do the financial planning. Make sure you are well equipped to be doing long days, long nights, and you've got the determination to do it. And then, you know, everything else will fall into place. All right.
I think I'm going to leave it with that. I love what you just said, and I couldn't agree more. Guys, thank you so much for your various insights into this topic. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it, and I think it's going to look however you want it to look, but either way, I think we all agree you want to set some boundaries, you want to set some rules, and you want to build it the way you want it to look. That's why it's called lifestyle, and you want it to be a business because, you know, incomes come and go. Businesses, strategy, that's why you're here, right? So on behalf of everyone, we just want to thank you for joining our weekly hangout. All the guys at ISOOSI, all of our lovely regulars, and definitely Miss Stephanie. So thanks so much. We will see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add as well, next week we've got Dan Shaw from Evolving SEO, and we're going to be talking about keyword research, keyword analysis. So, like Eric said, tune in next week, 3 p.m. Eastern, next Tuesday. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.